All right, it looks like we have everybody in the waiting room. I'll keep allowing people once they come in. Um, Janae, would you like to get started with the welcome and introduction?
Sure. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us on this warm day. Um, Dana, as many of you know, has been leading us in organizing these success sessions. I dare you to try and say that 3 times. And through these sessions, what we're hoping is that we're connecting some of the foundational information that one needs to understand when it comes to shared ownership. That said, we've had a number of sessions, and of course, looking to repeat them. So please fill out um, your evaluation, because it's through those evaluation we not only know what is of interest, but what can we do better. For those of you here, because I see some iPhones and what have you, so I don't see everyone. It looks like for the most folks know who we are. And so I'm just going to give a short description of the Center for Shared Ownership, where exactly what those words said. We're a center that focuses on shared ownership, whatever type of shared ownership you may have, be it townhome, condo, cooperative housing. And our main interest is to ensure that this type of housing not only is able to be preserved in the most affordable way possible, but also that it can compete in the market that it's in, right? As the world has gotten even more open about the issue of wealth creation, especially in the Black and Brown communities. And when no matter what color you are, green, yellow, or blue, when it comes to women and wealth creation, there's also some concerns there as well. So we really are trying to stay within the environment of thinking about how do we see our housing, especially shared ownership, as a tool towards that kind of wealth creation. And what are the things that we need to know and understand to be, pound wise consumers, as we are also pound wise investors. And I know home and investment not necessarily live in the same world, but they are in the same world in this capitalist country of ours, and communities that we live in. And so home is an investment. And if we don't take care of that home in a way that preserves it into the future, then we don't have strong neighborhoods, great economies, and the ability to transfer wealth based on our needs and our interests. Today we have Elevate Energy with us. And I know there's a new name, an additional name, and they're going to tell it to you. Those of you who know me know I barely keep names in my head well. So, but we do have Elevate Energy with us, and they are what we call a resource benefit partner. And some of you know that we are working to get some dates for you so that they can come and do their magic in helping to enlighten us about not just um, energy energy resources that they may have, but how to best think about energy in the larger perspective of your shared ownership property, your multi-unit property, as well as individually. So to that end, I'm not going to take no more time. I'm going to go ahead and have the Dana move to the next step. I believe the speakers are going to introduce themselves. Yes, Dana?
Yes, Maria, if you can take it away for us. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. Can you hear me okay, Dana?
Yes, we can hear you.
Excellent. Okay, let me get my screen going. Does this look good?
Yes, we can see.
Great. Thank you. Well, thanks everyone for showing up on a hot, if you're in Chicago, it's hot. I'm feeling it. But today we'll be talking to you about energy planning with Elevate. The reason we thought this would be an important topic to discuss today is because energy is becoming an increasingly bigger part of like the operating budget for a lot of these buildings, specifically shared communities. And so we wanted to talk to you about what does energy planning look like, what does it mean to us, and what are some resources that are out there to help you navigate this environment. My name is Maria. I'm a director of high performance buildings here at Elevate. You'll be hearing from me and in my program, but you'll also be hearing from my colleagues Ari and Kasia on their programs. But before that, let me just tell you just kind of some brief overview of who Elevate is. This is what we believe. We believe in equity through climate action. So what that really means is that we seek to create a world in which everyone has clean and affordable heat, power, and water in their homes and communities, no matter who they are or where they live. We really care about preserving affordable housing, and as it was mentioned earlier, we think that housing is at the core of our communities, our culture, our cities. And so we look to preserve those through clean energy. We are headquartered in Chicago. We were founded in 2000, so 25 years ago. But we've got over 200 people all over the nation, 8 offices you can see here. We're even in Oregon, where Dana's at, not quite Portland. I know you're not in Portland, but we're all over the place and are working in communities there. Click admit, here we go. And we'd like to say that we have local programs with national impact. We do a lot of policy and research. We do a lot of in-building stuff. We work with contractors. So anything that is related to your building, we're working on it. We're largely funded through government money, through utility contracts, philanthropy, and sometimes people will actually pay us for our services too, just out of pocket, depending on what it is. The people we serve are people like you, property owners and managers, renters and homeowners, nonprofits. You can see the entire list here. But really anyone who has anything to do with a building, specifically in a historically under-resourced community. That's who we like to help most. And I mentioned earlier, we center equity through climate action, but what does that really mean? I think these 4, I guess, icons help describe that. So our programs make affordable housing healthy, energy efficient, and carbon free. And we think that this helps people save money and stay healthy and comfortable at home and keep people in their homes. In doing so, we help create jobs, clean energy jobs in these communities, from these communities. And our experience shows the importance of continued investment in climate action. Climate action is a way of preserving affordable housing and preserving our communities at large. So one quick thing about energy planning that I kind of wanted to kind of help center this conversation is that we think of energy planning in 4 pillars, and what we're calling decarbonization pillars, or how you decarbonize a building. How do you remove carbon from a building? The first pillar is energy efficiency, and you've probably heard of this, get rid of your incandescent light bulbs and put in LED light bulbs. Have patch the holes in your roof, have insulated roof, things like that. It's stuff that's been happening for the last several decades. It's not, new or anything like that, but it is a way to get a building to be as energy efficient as possible. Once you have your building as energy efficient as possible, what you want to do is get rid of anything that combusts. So any gas in your building, gas appliances like your gas furnace that provides heating, or your gas water heater, your gas stove, your gas clothes dryer. We want to get rid of gas in those buildings because combusting fossil fuels is actually not only unhealthy for indoor air quality, but it is becoming more and more expensive as natural gas is going away and the future is moving towards electricity being the sole energy source for buildings. So once you have an all-electric building, the next pillar is to add renewable energy. And typically for us, that looks like rooftop solar, like you see here in this icon. So now that your building is all electric, try to offset as much of that electricity with that free sun energy. Once you have that, you just manage all of your loads, like have, thermostats set to the right setting, or, get on the right utility rate with ComEd or whoever your electric supplier is, things like that. And so we really think about all of this when it comes to energy planning. We'll never recommend you do anything that's going to increase your utility bills or increase your operations and maintenance, no matter how environmental or sustainable it is, because to us, what really matters is keeping people in their homes. So we think about all of this, but also from an affordable and equitable perspective. So today's agenda, just really quick, I'm going to pass it on to my colleague Ari, who's going to talk about the Multifamily Energy Savings Program. This is a program that Elevate administers, and it's in collaboration with the utilities here in the Chicagoland area. It's a free program, so she's going to talk all about that. After that, my colleague Kasia is going to talk about the Illinois Solar for All program. It's another program that we administer here at Elevate, where you essentially income eligible homes and communities get effectively free rooftop solar in the state of Illinois. Once Kasia tells you all about that, she's gonna boomerang it over back to me, where I'm gonna talk about our consulting services. So if there's anything that you didn't hear from Aria or Kasia that you have questions on, it kind of basically comes to me. We're the hardcore kind of engineering arm of Elevate and can help you figure out your most complex questions, building questions that you may have. We're going to talk about that for about 15 minutes each, but please roll in the questions in the chat. We'll be answering them as we go along, but we also have a Q&A section at the end for 10 minutes. So you can also save them then. And I think that's about it. I will pass it on to Ari. Go for it, Ari. Let me stop sharing my screen.
Thank you so much, Maria, and happy, what is this, Tuesday to everyone. Let me share my screen. Give me one moment. There we go. Okay, I just saw the share button. Okay, there we go. And I am sharing this right here. Okay, can everyone see that?
Yes, it's loading. Just it'll
Okay.
take a second, yeah.
All right. Let me know. Is it loaded now?
It is for me, yes.
Okay, perfect. I'm not going to go over the housekeeping rules because obviously you're already have applied those rules. So my name is Ari. I'm from Multifamily Energy Savings, which is one of the programs that Elevate offers, as Maria stated earlier. I'm just going to go over a few things about what the program's offerings are, the eligibility, some sample improvements, project examples, process overview, how to get started, and then obviously if you need to contact me or have any additional questions, then I'm going to open up the floor for that. This is a testimonial video. I'm not sure how this will work in terms of the feedback, like if you guys can hear it. If you can, then let me see. Can you hear that?
The multifamily energy savings offering has been well worth it. If you don't do all the basic things to keep your costs in control, pretty soon you're going to say this business isn't worth it. It's not a high margin business. And ultimately, your goal is to improve net operating income.
The multifamily energy savings offering provides free and discounted products and improvements to save you money and energy at your multifamily property. ComEd, Nicor Gas, Peoples Gas, and North Shore Gas have partnered to bring you this offering. Get started today by following 3 easy steps.
During our assessments, we take a walk around the whole property. Usually we'll start with the exterior. We'll look at the roof, all common area facilities, boiler rooms inside the unit to see what the in-unit residents can take advantage of as well.
After they did the energy efficiency evaluation, it was explained to me a lot of these older buildings have almost no insulation.
Oh, it looks like the sound cut out for me. Oh, Ari, you have to unmute. There you go.
Type of see, acquire, how much incentives they're going to be receiving.
Then our scheduler will reach out to the property owner and schedule the actual work to be implemented, and we send out our direct install crews. You may be eligible to receive free energy-saving products, including LEDs, programmable thermostats, WaterSense certified shower heads, and more. You may also be eligible to receive free or discounted energy-saving improvements, such as weatherization, lighting, and HVAC upgrades. We did the interior for our residents and then sink aerators. But we also did the water heaters, which help with the gas. With being able to save money on the utilities that I need, I can spend more on property improvements. And same thing with the residents. They're seeing a benefit to living here with cost effectiveness for their electric, for their water, for their gas bill, then it makes them more likely to stay.
We took advantage of the furnace and AC condensing units, and people have told me that their utility bills they've seen a reduction in their utility costs, which is what it's all about, is reducing utility costs. It really is a seamless process, and there's not much that happens on my end other filling out some paperwork and then following through with educating the tenants what's going to happen and coordinate that end of it. Every job that we've ever had done here has been done first class. Their contractors, their staff, they are respectful for our properties and our residents.
I would definitely recommend the multifamily energy savings program. To be eligible for this offering, your property must contain 3 or more units or be any property type owned or managed by a public housing authority and be located in an area served by ComEd, Nicor Gas, Peoples Gas, or North Shore Gas. To get started and schedule an assessment today, visit multifamilyportal.com or call 855-993-0940.
All right, so that was a wonderful video overview that really actually talked about most of the things that I am going to discuss next, but it's just an example of some people who have benefited from our program. A lot of times when I'm out in the field, people are like, "Oh, unbelievable! Like you're giving away these things, and if your building is eligible, then we are, and it's free." And so I really encourage anyone on this call that has a multi-unit with 3 units or more, or if you are a manager of a property, to really chime in and maybe contact me after this so that you can start to see the benefits for yourself, your building, and your tenants. It really does help. Every little penny, especially in this economy right now, helps. So again, multifamily energy savings, or MFES, offers free product. Excuse me. This out my way. We offer free products and rebates for projects to save you money and energy at your multifamily unit or property. So again, that's 3 units or more. Offering the benefits includes a free energy assessment, which we saw in the video. The energy advisor was one of the persons that was going through the assessments for the property owner. Low cost and no cost energy savings improvements, dedicated point of contact to guide you through the process, a program vetted contractor network, and then an enhanced tenant comfort and lower energy cost. So all those things are the benefits from utilizing this program. Who's eligible? Like I said before, 3 units or more. So the property must be 3 units or more. Right now, at least there's no cap to that. All properties must be owned or managed by a public housing authority. Properties must be located within ComEd, Nicor Gas, Peoples Gas, and or North Shore Gas territories, which really covers most of the state of Illinois. Alrighty, some samples. As you saw in the video, it could include weatherization, lighting, direct install for things such as LED lights, WaterSense, the faucet or shower head sensors that you saw in the video, programmable or Energy Star certified smart thermostats, so like your Nest units, a Wi-Fi enabled smart socket to help with your usability as well, air filters, and more. We also have some HVAC and appliances, which might include pipe installation, refrigerators, tankless, hot water heaters, heat pumps, and more. Some of those things, as you can see, are fully covered and some are partially to fully covered. And then we also have some that might have a copay depending on your circumstances. Chicago New City neighborhood is an example of where building improvements received for a 6-unit property, a roof cavity, air sealing and installation, LED lighting, bathroom and kitchen, aerators, pipe installations, and from this, the estimated savings was about $3,000 for that year, almost really 4,000. So $3,700 for the whole year that building was able to save by utilizing our program. Another example was a multifamily apartment in Des Plaines, which was actually a 504 unit building. They got lighting, health and safety, as well as weatherization. They were able to save $51,000 for the year by utilizing our program. And some of those lightings, or some of those improvements, as stated earlier, is like LED lights. So how does it work? Basically, you would start with a free assessment on site, where we'll be able to identify what your building is eligible for. The property owner would then choose projects to move forward. And from that point, we would have a comprehensive technical assistance and dedicated program support to identify the contractors and program eligibility equipment. And then we would go forward with understanding the project timelines and review the required documents. And at that point, you would have gotten your process started. The energy advisors within will call you ahead of time to make sure to set up confirm an appointment with you. They'll be equipped to be able to do the work efficiently by wearing utility branded apparel, so they are identifiable. We're very particular about our apparel. We don't, like, say if someone leaves the company, we make sure that we receive that back, and we don't allow for anyone to just like have on that apparel. So it is properly vetted. So when you see our logo, then you know that it is legit and you can proceed with working with that person. They arrive in a Partners for Energy Efficiency vehicle or an unmarked vehicle. What they will not do ever is ask for your social security number or additional income information. So if that is happening, then those are not our people. So run. Rebates and installation, the program approves incentives for improvements. Contractor completes the construction or installation depending on your needs. And then we would also come back and review, do our quality assurance, on-site or virtual review of construction to ensure that there was indeed quality needs were met and that it is completed. At that point, we will follow up and get the final customer signatures for release for payment to the contractor. Obviously, if you like to or own or know someone that owns a multi-unit with 3 units or more, feel free to contact myself, or you can go directly to the site, which is multifamilyportal.com, or you can call the number listed. And at that point, you can start the process to see your eligibility, or you can simply scan with your phones this QR code that is on the screen. And I will open up the floor for any questions or comments.
Hello.
Yep, I can hear you.
Hi, how are you? My name is Pat Berry. I'm the president of South Commons Condos.
Mm-hmm.
So it says here, public housing authority building, which, and then so I asked, I didn't know what a public housing authority building meant. So I asked the question in the chat and they said, you know, they get subsidies from the federal government for tenants. Then it also says along with privately owned and other types of buildings. So we are a big condo association.
Mhm.
And I was just wondering, do we qualify for these kinds of things? I don't know.
So there are a few different qualifications actually. One of them would be if you have income eligible or low income pricing or utilization within your building. Another one is by proximity. So if you're in certain neighborhoods, based off zip code alone, you're pre-qualified. So we would have to see within your building, for instance, do you have anyone that's able to receive benefits being in your building? Like, do you have any low income tenants?
Well, they're not, everybody, you know, it's mostly, it's homeowners, it's condominium, but it's, you know, lower and middle class homeowners. It's not a
Do any of your tenants receive subsidies? Or
for the
like,
coverages. I don't know. Not that I know of. I don't know.
okay, we would need to look into your property. So if you will just shoot me a direct, like in the chat, if you can give me your email or something, like some contact information for you, and I'll be sure to look into it for your particular building. Because
Okay.
sometimes based off zip code, whether or not it is low income within your building or not, if it's considered a low income community, then you're automatically qualified.
Okay. Well,
So,
it's Bronzeville.
Yeah, Bronzeville is automatically qualified.
Okay. All right. I'll put my email in the chat. Thanks for
Thank
your help.
you.
so what, Ari, if I can expand on your answer, and please correct me if I'm wrong. So what I wanted to respond to you is two things. CSO has utilized the services that Ori talked about, and we've been able to do two things. For the condos or the co-ops, you know, that you are a multi-unit property. There are some, and I'm not sure who's going to speak to it directly, but I'm sure one of them will talk about the multi-unit properties. And for condos and co-ops, they usually focus on for the co-ops, they would do units, especially if it's a proprietary lease type of, or cooperative, housing cooperative. And then for condos, they would look at the common areas in the common spaces. And we've had that relationship or that experience with Elevate Energy a few times. The second part of your question I'm hearing is, what about the individual owners, right? And I think that's kind of where Ari went. We've done multi-unit properties that have had not just owners that are within the income guideline, but also has had either subleasers or renters that's living in an owner's unit that may fit the income guideline. So again, it's really, we like to do house parties where, you know, we bring out these kind of resources, sit people down, and then one-on-one, the individual who needs certain resources will come and speak to to Elevate Energy or any of our benefit resource partners. The third way to do that is exactly what Ori says. If any of you are interested in getting more information, definitely put it in the chat. We have everyone's information through the registration piece, and we can pass that on to them for them to do their things and reach directly out to you. Okay.
Thank you.
So
That
yeah,
is correct.
So again, I know I keep messing up your name, but that's your fault for changing the name. It's called Elevate, not just Elevate Energy. So, and then the last thing I wanted to say is, don't assume you don't fit. Here.
Recording in progress. So again, thank you for joining us. And we will see.
So here what's the process, the word I want to use here, what was said at the beginning about the advocacy that this organization does, and hear that they are focused on keeping housing affordable. And affordable is not just it's not just about the lowest of income. It's about what you can afford as an owner, what you can afford as an HOA, and so on and so forth. So it's a rippling effect of all those that have to carry that cost.
Okay, thank you very much. Appreciate
Okay.
it.
And can you also add your first and last name in there after I just asked you your name in the chat? Okay, were there any, thank you for that question. And you're absolutely right about the common area for the condo buildings. If they're pretty much, I think it's in everyone's best interest just to check your eligibility. Like you said, don't assume you don't qualify, because there might be some qualifications for your building, whether it's the common areas like you stated, or something else like LED lights, things of that nature. So were there any other questions, concerns, or corrections? All right, I think I'm going to move it over to my teammate. Maria, are you going to introduce or okay? Is
Pass
it?
it on to Kasia. Go for it, Kasia.
Yep, Cassia, go for it. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Okay, give me 1 second and I'm going to share my screen. Okay, can everyone see that?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Okay, hi everyone. My name is Kasha and I'm a senior associate here at Elevate, and I'll be talking to you all about the Illinois Solar for All program. So here's our agenda. I know it looks like a lot, don't be scared, but we'll move pretty quickly. But we'll start with an overview of the Illinois Solar for All program, and then we'll dive into some specifics, which will include the purpose, the benefits, the participant process, and more. Okay, so to start, what is Illinois Solar for All? So Illinois Solar for All, or ILSFA, as you'll hear me call it, ILSFA is for short, is a state program that makes solar installations more affordable for income eligible residents, allowing more people to save on their electric bills. Elevate is the program administrator for ILSPA, and the program was made possible by the Future Energy Jobs Act, or FEJA, in 2017, and then expanded by the Climate and Equitable Jobs Act in 2021. And ILSPA has 3 different sub-programs that I'll briefly kind of touch on. So one is residential solar. So this is geared for homeowners and multifamily building owners who are interested with on-site solar. So having, solar on-site. The community solar program is for homeowners and renters who are interested in solar, but for some reason don't want solar on their property, or can't, for whatever reason, have solar on their property. Their site might not be suitable for it. And then the last sub-program is the nonprofit and public facilities sub-program, which is for leaders and administrators of organizations who want on-site solar. So through the program, income eligible participants see no or low upfront costs. So in residential solar, participants see no upfront costs. So again, this is single family homes or 2 to 4 unit multifamily buildings. So this is for residential solar small. So the sub-program is residential solar, and then there's sub-programs within it. So there's small and large. So small is 1 to 4 units, and then large is 5+ units. So that's what we call residential solar large. And that's multifamily buildings that may see some low upfront costs. And again, this is 5+ units. Any ongoing costs and fees that you may have cannot exceed 50% of the value of the energy generated from residential or community solar projects. In some circumstances, this goes up to 65% of the value energy generated for nonprofit and public facilities. So who is eligible for ILSPA? So this program is for income eligible residents of Illinois, and we define income eligibility as households that do not exceed 80% of the area median income, or AMI. So I just have a quick snapshot of our income eligibility chart. This is just the first like 10 or so counties on there, but we have it for all counties in Illinois. And AMI depends on the size of the household and the specific county a household resides in. For large multifamily building units, so 5+, at least half of the units occupying the property must be income eligible. And for 2 to 4 units, it's at least 2. And the ILSFA website does contain a lookup tool for households too, to see if they are eligible. So you just put in like how many people are living in your household, and then you know, what county you live in. But again, for large multifamily, so 5+ units, at least half of the residents must be income eligible. And income eligible is, we're defining it as 80% of the area median income. And then for if you're wondering if you're, you know, a nonprofit or public facility, so that property, there's a few different qualifications. So that property, and apologies, this isn't on the slide, but I can put it in the chat afterwards. So that property is either within a qualified ILSFA environmental justice or income eligible community, and we have maps for those. The property must also be occupied by a critical service provider, which is, there's a list that I'll share as well. And the nonprofit or public facility has to demonstrate community engagement. So the nonprofit and public facilities has just slightly different like qualifications to participate. So what are the benefits to participation? So first, it's lower electricity bills, potentially for decades to come, affordable solar panels, and as we mentioned, no or low upfront costs, depending on what program you're participating in. There's also environmental benefits. Solar power produces clean energy and is an abundant source of energy. The program also combines energy from the grid with solar energy to receive reliable power. And the program also helps Illinois reach its renewable energy goals. And ILSFA also provides greater energy independence and avoids the use of fossil fuels. So to kind of help like spread the message of ILSFA, we utilize what we call grassroots educators, which are community-based nonprofit organizations. And they are kind of the folks that are boots on the ground, and they're spreading the word about income, or about Illinois Solar for All to income eligible residents. They work across Illinois and focus on environmental justice communities and income eligible communities across southern, central, and northern Illinois. And so who installs the solar panels? So I briefly mentioned this, but we call the approved solar companies approved vendors, and they are the ones that are installing the solar panels. They are qualified solar companies approved by the ILSFA program. And they have to first be approved by Illinois Shines, which is another state solar program. That's the market rate. So for those who make above 80% AMI. And once approved, these approved vendors, again, these are the solar companies that install the solar, are required to comply with ILSFA's consumer protection standards. So this, you know, this may include, they have to like help participants go through the process of verifying their income. They also have to meet job training requirements, and they have to ensure that participants see guaranteed savings. And there's a variety of ways if a solar company is interested in participating in ILSFA. They can be an approved vendor, and then they can also be what we call designees or subcontractors, which they kind of work under approved vendors. And the Illinois Solar for All program also supports job creation in the clean energy sector by requiring approved vendors to hire trainees from qualified workforce development programs like CEJA, FIJA, and other eligible initiatives. So these trainings or trainees gain hands-on experience by contributing to solar project installations. And approved vendors must ensure that a minimum number of installation hours are completed by qualified job trainings. And we also have a variety of consumer protections in place. So Illinois Solar for All safeguards participants by working with approved vendors who, again, follow fair and responsible business practices. They are vetted by the program administrator, us. This includes strict guidelines for marketing, ensuring that participants receive clear, accurate, and transparent information. And one of the tools that we kind of use to make sure that this happens is what we call a disclosure form. Out, your estimated savings, exactly how much you're going to pay every single month if you have a monthly payment, and every other like key information you can think of. Other protections also include no prepayment penalties and a cancellation policy. And that's it. So I can take some questions quickly. I know we're kind of bumping up on time, so I don't know if we want to do questions now or if we should save them for later.
Is there any questions? I would say,
Well, I'd just like to piggyback off my other question. Again, we're a large condo that is nonprofit. And I was just wondering, I mean, it's 6 different buildings with 600 condos, 600 plus condos. And I was just wondering if a association like ours would be eligible for this program.
So you could either qualify, if you're a nonprofit, then the nonprofit and public facilities sub-program would be for you. So I can drop in what are the qualifications. So you have to be, again, located in either a income eligible community area or an environmental justice community area. You have to be a critical service provider, there's a full list of that. And you have to prove community engagement. But it does sound like you should be able to qualify for that.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yep.
All right, I'm gonna take over and wrap up with what my team does. Okay, can folks see my screen?
yep, we see your PowerPoint.
Excellent. Okay. So I guess to recap, what you've heard so far today from my colleagues are programs that we at Elevate offer essentially at no cost to you. And the reason we're able to do that is because anyone that has a ComEd electricity bill, there's a line item on there that says that you're paying into this program. So take advantage of, Ari's multifamily energy savings program to get a free assessment and a couple of free things or discounted things for your building. Also take advantage of the Solar for All program to get free solar, like Kasha stated. And if you, just gonna reiterate what Kasha said, if you don't, qualify for Illinois Solar for All, because it is an income eligible program, there's also Illinois Shines for people who make more money than ILSPA is saying you have to meet. So there's free solar stuff out there or support. I actually think Illinois Shines is not quite free, but it's heavily discounted. Okay, so you've heard about those 2 programs. What I'm going to talk about is our consulting services at Elevate. So pretty much my team was created because there were folks who had really specific questions about their buildings where it didn't quite fit into the programs that we offer at Elevate. Maybe we just, the programs that are offered at Elevate didn't go deep enough into the problem that folks were trying to solve. So our team was created to essentially fill that gap. We were also created to fill a gap where folks who are, you know, in affordable housing communities or shared ownership communities, were going to engineering firms and asking for help, but the engineering firms maybe think, oh, you know, those are small potatoes and they're complicated buildings. We don't really want to work with that type of building stock. And so we also wanted to fill that gap. We're essentially kind of an engineering firm within Elevate that's willing to work with and literally hold the hand of anyone who wants to walk with us in their like energy planning journey. Not to get very, you know, bachelor show about it, but this is a high performance building. It's a new building or an existing building that has very low energy and water bills. It's efficient. It's all electric. It has renewable energy or rooftop solar. So as a result, a high performance building is comfortable, it's healthy, it's resilient, it's affordable, most and foremost. It benefits occupants and local communities, and it also reduces pollution and carbon emissions overall. And I kind of gave this overview already, but how do we at Elevate create high-performing buildings? Well, we provide personalized consulting to affordable multifamily or nonprofit property owners, managers, developers, renters to meet their performance goals from the design and planning stage all the way through construction. But we center equity. We advance energy justice and benefits to disadvantaged communities. We also really, I can't stress this enough, emphasize affordability. We want to reduce the energy burden and technology costs so that everyone can benefit from a high performance building. And then last but not least, we want to create resilience, increase the ability of communities to withstand and recover from stresses like heat waves, for example. How can a building help, you know, save some lives during a heat wave? So I'm not going to go into every single thing, but just to give you a lay of the land, we do this by providing all kinds of helps. So from the planning and design stage, through construction, through your operations, we kind of support you all the way through. So let's take a look at, you know, our building decarbonization assessments. Someone asked, I have in the chat, someone said, I have a gas central system. Is there something out there where we can go all electric? And that is exactly what a building assessment that we provide would help you figure out. The answer is yes, you could go to all electric, what we call cold climate heat pumps. But it's a different technology, right? If you're going from a central gas boiler to an individual gas and cooling system in each unit, we want to provide you not just how much is gonna cost you to go after this option, but also like what happens to your utility bills? What happens to your comfort? What happens to the aesthetics of your building? For example, if there's like a historically designated building, things like that. Our assessments also look at literally everything that could potentially use energy and water. So we're looking at your shell, we're looking at insulation levels, we're looking at your roof, your walls, your windows, doors. We're looking at your heating and cooling system, your water heating system, your lighting, literally everything that uses energy and water. And we produce a report for you that gives you like a menu of recommendations, what we think you should do, what we think it's going to cost you, what are some incentives that are out there to help you offset or cover the cost of that, and then what that means for your operations, whether for your future electric bill or any kind of operations and maintenance considerations. We also help figure out financing. If you're just stuck, you don't know, you kind of know what you need to do. Your stuff is old, you need to replace it. We'll help you figure out if there's a grant out there possibly, if there's a low interest loan out there possibly, things like that to help you kind of braid the financing to help you achieve your high performing building goal. Other things that we help do is construction management, for example. So let's say you've got a plan in place, you've got the money to do it. Now it's time to retrofit or build it out and install it. We're also there to make sure contractors are not only doing it right every step of the way, but that they're actually installing what you want them to install. I can't count how many times a contractor has installed the wrong thing, not the thing that we said you should install. So we want to make sure you're getting what you pay for. And I'm going to end it there since I know we're short on time, but this is essentially it. These are the types of services that we offer. I want to state too that because it is consulting services, we, with you, in partnership with you, have to figure out how to pay for our time. We don't make profit, even though we do, you know, engineering type level of assessments and work. We charge on a what am I trying to say? A scale depending on where you're located, who your tenants are, things like that. A sliding scale is what I'm trying to say. And we also, like I said, we make no profit. We will literally charge you or charge the service the exact hours it's going to take us to complete that work. And if we come in under, amazing, we'll only charge you for what we did and not over ever. But it is a fee for service. And if you don't have the money to pay for this type of work, we'll talk to us and we can help figure out some type of grant that's out there to help cover this work. And I'm going to stop there and start. So you'll get these slides and it'll describe all of these services in more detail. So I just wanted to throw them in here. But I'll start the Q&A. This is our contact information. My colleagues and I are on here. One last thing I wanted to say is that there's two things coming up. There's a free upcoming event called Own the Future, and that's this Thursday, 10 to 2 p.m. In the Chatham neighborhood, I believe. But basically, it's an expo for clean energy and home ownership in the Chicagoland area. So you will find tools and resources for clean energy related things, smart ownership, wealth building opportunities. Like was mentioned earlier. So anyone who's a homeowner, multifamily property owner, property manager, folks like that are welcome to this free event and learn more. The last thing I wanted to shout out is this network called the Building Energy Hub. So it's through our partners, the Illinois Green Alliance. You see their logo down here, but we're part of it. And it's essentially the state's trusted resource center for building professionals seeking practical solutions to improve building performance. That's a long way of saying that if you have a question about a building, you just call the hub and there's people to provide some answers for free, essentially. So let me go back to the Q&A and answer any questions folks may have.
I just also, Maria, real quick, I wanted to offer some clarity. The event is also, it's not just for multifamily unit owners. It's also for single family homeowners, as well as small business owners. So it'll be a wealth of information. Vendors like the City of Chicago, Cook County, the county's business organization will be there. There'll be so many. County Care, we just have so many vendors, so not all are welcome. And I just wanted to make sure that it was not just for multifamily, just so everyone knows.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks for clarifying. I'll leave this on for a few more moments. You'll get a copy of this presentation and you'll have our contact information in the chat, but I'll get us off of this so we can see face to face.
Thank you, Maria. There are also links in the chat. Every link that has been shared this evening, I have put on the link tree for you guys to be able to access as well. We'll be sharing the recording and the slides via the link tree as well. And we appreciate you guys coming and learning today. If you have any questions that may, you're getting ready to go to bed and it pops up into your head, feel free to email us. We'll make sure that it'll get to the right person and they'll reach out to you guys, okay? So thank you so much for coming. We truly appreciate it. Was there any other questions?
Yeah, Dana, it's Calvin Holmes. I just have one question, which I'm sure we're all thinking about, is I understand that Donald Trump has been able to completely disrupt the greenhouse gas reduction fund. And if that indeed is the case, how is that affecting the work that Elevate is trying to do?
Oh, I did not expect to be triggered. Thank you, Calvin. I'm joking, but yeah, it's really affected our work. We had grand plans to really deploy all of this funding and put it in our communities, but that's been put into a halt. Right
Right.
now, I think, it's in the Supreme Court and they're fighting for it. Chances are it's going to go through because that money was written into legislature and it's committed and devoted. But we don't know how long this fight will be.
Right.
Once we have more information, we literally contact everyone. We're ready to go as soon as GGRF is ready to go. So we at Elevate keep a roster of folks who have said they're interested in a boiler, they're interested in GGRF, we check a list. So if you send me an email, I'll add you to this list. And as soon as we have information, you're going to get that mass email of like, we're ready if you are. You want to talk about it? Let's do it. So
Nope.
send me an email, Calvin, or any of us, and we got you.
That's a great response, Maria. Let's all keep our fingers crossed, right?
Yeah. Yep. Thank you for that question.
Maria, I'm glad that Calvin, this is Janae. I can't turn on my camera or else I get, I have issues, connectivity issues. But thank you, Calvin, for asking that question. I have a different twist to that question that I was gonna ask, is we know tomorrow may bring some changes. That's me speaking with confidence and positively. What do properties need to do now with you, right, to be ready for when, not if, for when the courts have answered and when there are resources that might fit properties at this juncture, right? I think part of, especially getting resources from government is being at the ready, and being at the ready doesn't cost much. So if you were to give our groups that are, and many other people here are groups working with CSO. So if you were to give our groups the top, I want to say 10, but I'm going to tell you the top 3 things they should do to be ready, to be a ready group to work with you, a ready homeowner to work with you. What is it?
Yeah, I think really step number 1, especially with shared ownership communities, is to have a consensus amongst the people that live there that these are the goals we want to achieve. These are the things we want to do. A huge part of where we start with a lot of buildings is getting everyone on the same page and making sure everyone's ready to move forward to the next thing. And so if we can cut that time a little bit, that would be a huge help. I think another thing to think about is what are some things in your building that are high priority, need to happen tomorrow because that boiler is already past its useful life, versus things that are, your wish list, like it would be nice down the road. It would be really nice to have that sort of plan ready to go so that we can kind of come in there and with you strategize about how to make it all happen. Or we can come in and say, hey, actually, I know you said you wanted to do this 5 years down the road, but if you have to do this one thing right now, you got to do this other thing too, because you don't want the same contractor to come back, pull another permit that's going to cost even more money. Let's just get it all handled and done right now. But it would be good to know that that's what you're thinking about down the road. And we'll help you too. If you have no idea what to do with your building, you just know it's costing you a lot of money to operate, or people are complaining about their utility bills, we're also there to just help ask the right questions and get you to come to that consensus. I would also say keep emailing me. I really don't care if you email me not every day, that's a little crazy, but maybe every single month or something like that, to check in with me about where things are at. Is there any funding that's out there? Chances are, while GGRF is in pause and all this federal funding for all this clean energy work is in pause, that means that a lot of philanthropies are actually coming to Elevate and asking, how can we help? We know there's a need, da 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 da. And sometimes they have very specific requirements and we don't quite know how to put the word out because they're just so specific. But if you contact me and I know about your building, we can hook you up and kind of make the connection.
Thank you for that, because I know that, again, there are some properties, be it that they're working on their 5-year, 10-year, 15-year plan, right? Especially with shared ownership, we really promote that they do long-term planning,
Yeah.
so that they can build their resources towards it. It sounds like this, if anyone is thinking about that, this is a moment in time they should say, we should be contacting Elevate and see how they can help infuse some of their thought process into planning into the future.
Yeah, and we'd like to, I mean, we're a nonprofit, right? We're unbiased, and we really truly just want to make sure that what you plan is what works for you. So even if it's a 1 hour conversation, we're happy to have it if you have no idea where to start. Yeah, use this as a resource for sure.
Thank you.
Thank you, Janae.
CSO folks, no questions, feel free to ask questions. These are our benefit resource partner. There is nothing you can say will shock them. And what I love about them is if they can't, they say, no, that's not something we do. But if they can, they definitely will tell you if they can help. So take the opportunity to ask questions.
Can I jump in?
Yeah, go for it, Charles.
So I have a clear sense from the presentation about the focus on climate change and energy efficiency and conservation and so forth. But I also have the feeling that many of us with older properties, especially in challenged areas, are feel very far away from the reality, the ideal that you want us to work towards, and we may very well want to work towards it. And we're dealing with old technology, and it sounds as though you're able to help both with existing systems, even though they aren't the ideal systems.
Yes.
At the same time, you're able to help people move towards the new technology that's better for the environment. Am I understanding this correctly?
Yes.
And
Thank you for
sort of
asking
like
it in that way.
relative-
Yes, exactly. We're going to meet you where you're at. If you just put in a boiler, whatever, 5 years ago, we're not going to tell you replace it with this hot new technology that's all electric because it's good for the, we're going to meet you where you're at. But if you are having an issue with that 5-year-old boiler and you need someone to come take a look at it, either we'll help you figure it out, as in like go and diagnose it ourselves, or we'll call in the right like vetted folks, contractors and folks like that, ideally from the community who may know you, for example, to come out and take a look at it. But you have no idea how much of the work that I do is I walk into a building and because someone is experiencing extremely high gas bills, for example. And the solution is to just hit that off button once in a while. And that's it, and so and we do that. We do that, and that does save people money. But if you're not in our profession, it's hard for folks to know the ins and outs of a boiler manual from, put in 1920. Only me or my colleagues. So that's why you would call us to help do that as well. Thank you, Charles, for the question.
All right, any more questions? Okay, well, it's been great. Thank you, Maria. Thank you, Kasha. And thank you, Ari, for doing your presentations. They were wonderful and informative. And I will make sure that we have that recording and all of the information that you guys shared today available for everybody via that link tree. I will be sending a follow-up email and just reminding everybody about the event on Thursday. If you have not registered, please do so. Once again, thanks, everybody.
Thank
And
you. Stay
we
cool,
appreciate
everybody.
your guys' time.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye, all.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Very informative.
Thanks,
Thank
everyone.
you.
Thank you so much. Hope to see you guys Thursday. Bye.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.